So, good morning, everyone. Here we are in November 2020 and back in Scotland, in Edinburgh. Very misty outside. However, we're going to press on. So today we're going to start off with a warm-up from standing. So if you have something with a bit of height to it that you can use in case you need it. You might not need it, it just depends. So let's just start off with taking our feet hip distance, and just take a moment to move from heel to ball of the foot. Sway your weight back and forward a little bit, just to notice where you actually put your weights, because I want you to try and have the weight balanced evenly between front and back. That's it. So then once you've done a few bit of swaying, then come back to the center and see if you can feel that midpoint between the heel and the ball of the foot. Okay. Spreading our toes. Now let's just try put too much weight on the outside edge of the feet. So your insteps lift up. Again, some of us do walk around like that, and we'll go the other way, which is the pronation. So collapse the inner sides of your feet and your knees start to knock together. You can feel that. So we want to correct that. So if you were to bend your knees would be pointing straight over your feet. Yeah, so just check that, bend the knees. So if they're pointing out, you want to do a little bit of a rotation in, and if they're knocking together, you want to just rotate your inner thighs slightly out. Okay, so now let's just check our hips. We want to have our hips over our ankles, and we want the shoulders over hips. So let's think about our posture. I'm going to turn sideways to show you this, because I've noticed a lot as I've been looking around people, I don't know whether it's because of lockdown, that there's an awful lot of collapse upper backs going on, and then of course what happens when you just collapse your posture and then you let your chest slump forward, and then to compensate you kind of throw your head back, and then you get that very accentuated lump curve in the neck. So let's just think about that. First of all, crown of the head lifting up to the ceiling. And these are things you can practice just as you're standing anywhere, to always check what your posture's doing. And then if you think about your sternum, you want to bring it slightly back and then up. So effectively what you're doing is you're lengthening the front of your body. So let's all start, collapse again, let your body be quite slumpy, and then lift up through the crown of the head, get your extra height, and then you get that sternum going back and up. And notice as you do it, you're engaging your core muscles and you're lengthening. So it's really good to get a feeling of what that feels like, so that you can just do a little check during the course of your day. Have I slumped? Correct. Crown of the head up, drawing the belly. Well, you don't think about drawing the belly in up, but by putting your sternum back and up, you get that activation. If you do that already, you look slimmer. If anyone's worried about not being slim, then if you're kind of like this. Now, the other thing, once you've got that lovely connection through the core to the sternum, you'll find that your arms should feel quite free. So let's just try that. If you swing your arms, keeping that lovely core connection, and the shoulders are just, think about wearing boxing gloves made of lead. Now just let your arms drop down. So imagine you've got boxing gloves made of lead, and see how heavy you can make your hands. So your shoulders just draw away from your ears. Kirsten, just watch not to stick your tummy out. So just let your hips come back a little and let your shoulders come forward. Okay. Now let's start into shoulder rolls. So we'll bend our knees slightly and we're rotating in through the nose, out through the nose. We can involve the knees slightly bending up and down. Okay, and then let's go the other way. Lovely, and then release. Okay, now checking that you've got space out to the side, soften your knees again. We're going to inhale, stretch up to the ceiling and exhale down. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling and down. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling and down. Change the direction that we're going in. Reach up to the ceiling and down. Reach up and down. Reach up, keep the shoulders down, away from the ears, lovely, and release. Okay, now going to the side, make sure you've got nothing in the way. Just going to do a few little rolls with rotations with that right arm, bending the knee, keep it nice and breathing, shoulders away from the ears. Straight arm if you can, a bit like a windmill, change the direction. Breathing. So we're just dipping slightly in the knees as we go. A little knee dip. Good. Changing sides. Starting to rotate your arm, left arm, little dip. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Change direction. Breathing. You might find one shoulder is a bit stiffer than the other. Lovely, and release. Okay, let's do both arms now. So we're making circles out to the side. See if you can keep the shoulders down. Don't stick your tummy out. Change direction. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you go up and over. Lovely, last one. Great, and then release. Quite a nice little warm up, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to go to our chair. Face the chair, or you can just stand or face a wall. And we're going to just take a step back with your right foot, but keep facing the chair. Okay, and then we're going to rock forward, coming onto the ball of your back foot. So this is just a way to help to waken up the feet and activate your toes. So if you press down particularly on the pad of the foot, you can bend your front knee a little bit just to feel that stretch through your back foot, through the toes particularly, and release. And again, let's do the same thing. So we're just slightly bending the front knee, really pressing down through the pad of the big toes, just below the toe, below all the toes, not just the big toe, all the toes. Feel that stretch and release. Okay, and then last one. Spread the toes as much as you can. And last time, lift your heel right off the floor. Feel pressing down through your toes. And get that little toe also engaged. Lovely. And then release. And then just give your foot a little shake out. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. So we're just walking back with our left foot, both feet facing the chair. And we are just going to bend that front knee slightly. Spread our toes. Come onto the ball of the foot. Lift up as high as you can. And then press down, particularly on the joint of the big toe, and then across the toes going to the little toe. And then release. Again, up, stretch through your toes. Breathing. And release. Stretch through the toes last time. Really, so it's like you're trying to push the floor away with your feet, with your toes. So there's a strong action, and release. And then we'll just shake out that foot as well. Toe yoga, bit of toe yoga. Great. Okay, so now facing our chair again, we're coming down the mat. We're going to take the left foot forward. Just keep that right foot back. We're going to hinge. So do a nice easy trikonasana. Feel that stretch up the inner thigh and both sides of the waist the same height. Those of you that are able to can go lower down. You can use blocks. And we're breathing. And you can have your legs wider if that's happening for you. Yeah, Richard, don't go so low. Stay, give yourself a bit more height so you can get a lovely open chest. And hinge from the top of that left leg. Okay, and then come up. We're going to rotate that back foot facing our chair. Press into the back heel this time, so hopefully you'll feel the stretch up through the calf. Take your front foot as wide as you can, and while keeping the back heel on the floor. Yeah, keep upright. Don't bend over, Richard. Keep upright, yep. Just want you to feel that calf stretch. Open the chest. Now let's catch the hands behind the back. Squeeze our shoulders together. Beautiful, that's nice, Richard. Nape of the neck long. Hazel, drop your chin a little bit. Okay, now keep the arms where they are. See if you can just bend that front knee. So we're trying to bring the knee over the ankle, but keep the chest open. So we're taking that into virabhadrasana 1, first warrior. If you feel comfortable with that, you can then bring your arms up in the air, parallel arms. Can you really stretch into that back heel, back calf? You feel the stretch there, but your lovely straight back leg. Hitting back with the back thigh, nice. Hazel, bring your shoulders back over your hips so they've gone forward a bit. So you want to bring your shoulders back, yep, good. Sit, hold. So if you've had enough, come up, but if you can hold, just hold for a bit longer. 5 more breaths. Nice. And then release. Great, and then bring both feet forward. Yeah, you probably notice if you hold it a bit longer, you know, you feel your muscle groups really firing up. Yeah, exactly. Good. Okay, now let's just do a little relax. Before we do the other side, we'll just do a little uttanasana. So you can have your feet together or hip distance and just like hang onto your chair. Just find the right height to hang that works for you. And if you want to, you can just let your head hang. If your hamstrings can take that, and you can always just soften your knees slightly if you want to get that feeling of hanging. And then once you soften, from there you can think about letting your sit bones lift up, and then you get that the hamstrings begin to lengthen. Breathing. And then if you can have the backs of the hands on the floor, which makes you makes your upper body hang more heavily, which puts more work on the hamstring, which is why you can grade that. So you can have the hands on the floor to begin with, just to control how much your hamstrings let go. Okay, now to come up, we're going to bend the knees. Take the hands behind our back and bring the sternum forward. To come up, sternum forward, squeeze your shoulders together. Great, okay. Right, we're going to try that to the other side. I might just get my chair so I can still see you all. Okay, so we're going to now face to our chair, and this time we're bringing the right foot forward, the left foot back. So the idea with the trikonasana is we take in at the top of, in this case, the right leg, and we lengthen out. So our both sides of the waist stay the same height. Exactly, that's nice. And you just go until you feel enough of a stretch coming up the inner thigh that you can soften into it, but not so much that it's making you brace and tighten against the movement. So you can have the chair height that works for you. And those of you that are able to get well down, you can go lower. You can use blocks or bring your hands on your leg. But don't rush down and get nice wide legs. That's it. Hinge more from the top of your right leg there, Ruth. So you're taking in at the top of the right leg. Really. That's nice, Hazel, lovely. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Doing our Ujjayi breath in through imagining you're taking in the breath in through the front of the throat and out through the front of the throat. Now, if your neck's sore, just tuck your chin in before you rotate it, because usually the neck gets sore when we hang our head without supporting it. Lovely, and then from there we're going to turn. So this, as I say, when we turn, let's stay high and both legs straight. I want you just to feel that back heel working. I'm going to change to this side. So take the legs as wide as you need to get some stretch happening in the back calf. So you're just leaning forward a little bit, really stretching into that back heel. So that back leg's working strongly. There's an optimal point, because if you go too far forward, the stretch transfers into the front leg. So I want you to keep it into the back leg, really pressing through that heel, feeling the calf wake up. Nice. Because that's the movement we want to maintain. Now if we bend our front knee, so that's the right knee, just bend the right knee so that it comes over the ankle, and just bring your body upright again so your shoulders are over your hips. Let's catch the hands behind our back. So keep that strong stretch in the back heel. So this is transferring into warrior one with a really strong back leg. And then if we're happy with that, we can take the arms up over the head, parallel arms. What's happened to that back heel? Have we kept it working? Dropping into the pose. Right, let's see if we can hold it. If you get too tired, you can come up at any time. We're going to try and hold 10 more breaths. Keep that back leg working. Lovely, and inhale to come up, and again, feet together. Good, we're going to Uttanasana, hanging forward, using whatever prop you like that helps you get a nice soft movement, because in Uttanasana what we're doing is it's a recovery position. So we're looking for something where your legs are working, but the upper body is hanging and softening. And those of you that can just have the hands on the floor. You can start off with the hands on the floor just to, so you can control the amount of letting go you do in the upper body, which has an effect on how strongly your hamstrings are stretching. And then if you feel okay, you can bring the backs of the hands on the floor, let the elbows go out to the side, which if you try it, you'll see just drops your whole upper body with gravity a bit lower, and that causes your hamstrings to get more of a stretch. If it's too strong for you, you can bend the knees and then think about letting the sit bones lift up, and then you get that hamstring action. Great, and then from there we're going to come up a little bit, bend the knees, and then open, squeeze the shoulders together, bring the sternum forward, and then come up. Ah, nice, Richard. Lovely. Good. Okay, excellent. Right, from there we're just going to do a little bit of a side stretch. So we're facing sideways onto our chair. I've got my left leg to the chair, and we're going to bring the left leg up in such a way that your left hip can descend to the same height as your right hip. So if when you lift your leg, your hip, you can't drop your hip and you can't rotate it down, then you've come too high. So you can just adjust, you can just go onto the top of the chair. So we're facing forward and we've got our left leg off to the side. They stretch through your left heel and let your toes come up to the air. Good, nice. Now, what you want to do is think about rotating that left thigh down, facing forward now. You take that right arm, see if you can catch around your thigh. Now, if that's not happening, you can use your belt if you have the belt just dangling, and then you can just catch. So you want your body working straight forward, and then if that feels okay for you, you can begin to slide down, slide your hand down the leg. Now, Hazel, just drop that chin, let the nape of the neck lengthen. Yeah, that's nice. Breathing. Lovely. In through the nose, out through the nose. Now let go of the belt or your thigh, and we're taking that right arm up, and now see if we can bring it, stretch it up to the ceiling first of all, and then to the wall where the wall meets the ceiling, and then those of you, if you can start to bring it down towards your foot, and turn to look underneath your armpit, so you get a big long stretch in the right side. So we're breathing in through the nose, out through. And let's just hold that stretch. So make sure that you're not going too far. Richard, can you don't collapse your body? You want to be bringing keep your trunk facing forward. Aha. Good, lovely. Nice. And then inhale to come up. Great. And ease out. Right, let's try that to the other side. So we have this time it's the right leg, and we're facing the wall. And again, we're looking to make sure that you can rotate that right hip down. So if you find that your right hip sticking up, you need to drop your foot. So find something a bit lower. You can put our belt around, and then we're going to work to catch the belt, or if you can catch with your hand. Okay. So let's just try the belt just now, because I want you to keep a lovely straight spine, trunk facing forward. So have the back of the hand against the back of the right hand against the right leg. Open the chest. And then we can slide down to catch the foot if that's happening. Keep that left shoulder rotating away from the center. So you're taking the left shoulder back behind you. So there's a little rotation going on. Then we're going to stretch out that left arm, turn the palm to face the ceiling. In fact, turn the whole arm, lift the arm up so that your inner arm is coming to your ear. And then stretch. First of all, stretch the ceiling. Then stretch to the point where the ceiling and the wall meet. And then if you can begin to drop your hand towards your foot. Then keep rotating. So we're rotating the trunk away from the floor up towards the ceiling. So ideally it's looking forward. Breathing. Breathing. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. And then inhale to come up. Great. And then just gently ease out. So yeah, especially with this, it's to really find your level, find the height that suits you so that you get a good stretch without having to, if you overstretch yourself, then what happens is that your whole body just goes, no, and it braces, and it's so counterproductive because then you can't soften into the movement because you spend the whole time just going like this. So obviously nothing's going to shift. Right, okay, so from there, I'd like to try a standing balance, which is opening the chest. So what we need to do is make a little loop in our belt. So if you've got one of these D-shaped yoga belts, they're ideal because you can make a little loop and then tighten it as you need it. So we're going to stand with our left foot facing the wall and we're just going to loop our right foot. So if you haven't got a belt that works, you can always just tie something around your ankle. But you want to be able to have a long enough belt because then we're going to reach up to catch, and then if we can, we're going to let go so that we're catching the belt with both hands. And if we can, straighten through your arms and drop your shoulders. So you're getting a lovely stretch in the upper back. Let me just check what you're all up to. Nice, lovely. Good. Now, if you feel that's okay, work your hands down the belt a little bit. Very nice, Ruth. That's beautiful. Yeah, so just do what you can manage. Now, if you need to keep the balance, you can just do it with one hand and the other hand holds on to the wall or the chair. But if you are doing that, just watch your knees not going out. Keep your knee near to your standing knee. Keep your bent knee near to your standing knee. Good. Open the chest. Drop your shoulders. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Very good. Keep dropping the shoulders. You can bend your elbows slightly if that helps, but see if you can lean back a little bit towards your foot and release. Yeah. Good. So if you are holding on with one hand, do maybe swap the hand you hold on with so that you get a chance to stretch through both sides. Yeah, okay, the other way to do it actually, if you need the balance, so we'll change side now, is the leg that you're going to stand on, you can put it near the wall so that your hip is going to touch the wall, so that when you hook your other foot, in my case the left foot, and stretch up, the wall's going to stop you from falling, and that way you can concentrate on having both arms holding onto your belt. So you get a lovely stretch through that neglected upper back. Watch the knees aren't wandering, watch that knee doesn't wander out, keep it pointing, keep it near to your standing knee. Stretch through your arms, drop your shoulders, breathing, and then if you can lean back slightly. Working your hands down the belt if you can. Lovely. And release. That's really nice, Ruth. Yeah, great. So hopefully you can feel that you've kind of activated this area around here. Trying to counteract the lockdown collapse. Okay. Right, so now if we still got our belts, let's just make the loop slightly bigger. So you want it at least shoulder width, but if you're a bit stiff in the shoulders, you want it wider. And then we're going to take that belt behind our backs. And we're just going to push, keeping the hands, fingers pointing down to the floor. I just want you to push against your belt. So we're not doing it pushing against the belt like that, we're doing it like that. So there's a feeling of rolling your shoulders back and down. Hazel, make your belt maybe slightly wider. And push strongly against your belt, and then I want you to then feel the sternum going in and up as you do that. So hopefully what you can feel is that you engage your core. Kristen, make sure that you're straight, make sure that you're balanced evenly on both feet. So that as you stand, your weight's distributed evenly. Roll your shoulders back and down. Send your fingertips to the floor, strongly. Sternum in and up. Ah, that's nice now, Hazel. So really push against your belt. And then relax. Great. Now, if you found that your elbows weren't able to straighten, can you make your loop bigger? But if you found that it was hard to push against your belt, probably because it's too big, then you can just make your loop slightly smaller. So we're going to go back again. Now just check how we're standing. We want to make sure that the hips are over the ankles, shoulders over the hips. And then again, pushing the fingertips down to the floor, push against your belt. Let that crown of the head lift. Chin, drop your chin, Hazel. And sternum in towards the spine and then up. Feel that lengthening through the front body. Yeah, don't put your hands back, Kirsten. Keep your hands, fingers pointing straight down. I don't want you to lift your hands at this point. Okay, lovely. And then from there, really push. If you like, you can hinge, and then those of you that can let your arms go up. Keep that push against your belt. You can bend your knees if you like. And then to come back, bring the knees forward. Let your hands start to drop down. Push your hands away, let the sternum come forward. So you're using your core to control the movement. And you come back. Nice, lovely. Okay, so we'll leave the standing poses there. And then we'll come back. We'll come down onto our mat. Okay, so let's find a sitting position that you find you can sustain. If you need to be, you can sit up on a chair, preferably a lower chair, as low as you can manage. And we're going to go back to our looped belt. And we're going to take the hands above the head this time. So let's just start off with the hands slightly forward, and you want straight elbows, and you want to really push your wrists against your belt. Now, if you're wearing a watch, you're going to find that it's impeding, so I would definitely take your watch off. So pushing against the belt, and at the same time, we're dropping our shoulders down away from the ears. Now, if that feels okay, then we're going to lift the arms a little bit higher. Can we get those shoulders to drop? I want you to think about the sternum back and up, and that connection with the core, the pelvic basin, shoulders dropping, and then if that feels okay, go back a bit more. Recreate your connection. Now, if you find that your shoulders are creeping up to your ears, then you probably just need to drop your arms forward again so that you can keep that lovely long line. Nice, Trish, good. Shoulders down. Elbows straight, really push into your belt. As if you're trying to snap your belt. Squeeze your pelvic floor. 2 more breaths. Drop your shoulders. And release. Great. Good. And then just ease out. Okay, now have your belt ready on your right hand side, but we're going to take our left arm and just bend it back behind us. So just have the back of the palm, the back of the hand, I mean, on the small of your back. Now with this left shoulder, can you roll your shoulder back and down? So you're not doing this, you're keeping that upright movement, keeping the sternum in and up, so you're activating the core. Now with your other hand, let's see if you can just work that hand up the back a little bit. So ideally you want to get the back of the hand in between the shoulder blades, keeping that rotating shoulder and keeping lovely long front body. Okay, now we'll try it without the belt first. We're going to take the right hand up and drop it down, and just see if you might be able to touch your fingers, and then just loop your fingers together. Lovely. If you're not touching, then use your belt and just let your hand catch hold of your belt. Great. And then we've got that elbow, that top elbow pointing up to the ceiling. And we're breathing. Very nice. In through the nose. Keep your sternum drawing down, back and up. Keep that connection through the core. Keep a long front body. Shoulders down. Nice Kirsten breathing. Ujjayi breath, as if you're breathing in through the front of the throat, out through the front of the throat. Nice. And then release. And just ease out that arm if you find that quite a stretch. Okay, so now we're taking our belt over to the left hand side. We're rolling our shoulders back and down, lovely long front body. We're going to now take that right hand back, so we want the back of the hand in the small of the back. As we do that, we can keep lovely long body, and then we can use our left hand just to see if we can work that right hand up a little bit, so that the back of the hand is now in between the shoulder blades. Now don't worry if it's not there, but aim, sort of see if you can get a movement that way. Lovely. And then we're going to reach up with the left hand, bring it down, and just see if you can catch your fingers. You can hook your fingers. And if that hook's not happening, then you can use your belt and catch with your belt. Lovely. So if we're hooking, nice long body, keep your trunk upright. Use your belt if you don't use your belt and you find that you're losing the integrity of your forearm, then you want to just use your belt, because it's more important to keep your trunk aligned than it is to catch. So we want to think about the sternum drawing back and up, think about that linking in with the pelvic basin and how you're drawing the navel in and up, the lower abdomen comes in and up, your pelvic basin comes up towards, it goes in and up too. Both shoulders drop. So the whole pose can become really active, and you accentuate it. Just actually draw your belly, squeeze your belly in, see how much you can hollow your belly in and draw up towards your diaphragm. And see if you can hold that for a few breaths. Nice. Now if you find that that's impossible to do, what you can do is just let your belly go out and then take a breath in. And then as you exhale, just see if you can scoop your belly in and up. Just see if you can hold it for one breath as you exhale. Don't let your belly go. And then build up from there so that you're really working to scoop and hollow. Brilliant. And release. Nice. And then we'll just gently ease out that arm. It'll be the back arm because we've worked it a bit harder than we normally do. Just let that relax out. We can do a little arm dance to ease our arms. Great. Okay, so let's just change the way we're sitting. So we'll just bring our other foot in front. Yeah, and remember, anytime if your knees are bothering you, you can just prop them up with cushions or a block. So we're going to just do a little bit of wrist and hand work now. So if we take our hands together, get that height, sternum back and up. Feel how you're picking up the pelvic floor, your lower abdomen's drawing in and up. Now the more you can get that scoop and hollow, the better, especially if you can hold it. Drop your shoulders, let the crown of the head lift to the ceiling. Make sure your back waist is not pushing forward, so you need to keep your back waist back, otherwise you won't be able to get that pick up of the pelvic floor. And then take the hands slightly away from your body, lift your elbows, and then we're going to push down with the hands. So maintain the connection with the fingers for as long as you can, and then as you drop, gradually your fingers will come away from each other. Give them a little shake. And again. Arms away from your body a bit, elbows lifted, push your hands. Again, elbows lifted, shoulders down, push your hands together. Start to lower your fingers, lower your hands, but keep the connection, like as if it was stuck together, super glued. Lovely. Okay, and then same thing, this time hands, fingers pointing forward. Bring your hands to your chest. Push, 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 little by little. Again, bring the hands to the chest. Gradually separate. And then release. You can feel how your fingers can get so stiff without realizing it. Okay, now clasp the hands together. Push the hands away. Breathe. Okay, now if that feels okay, go from the crown of the head, push the hands away. Just from the crown, sorry, I did say crown, I meant forehead. From the forehead, push away. Lovely, and now crown. And then push up if you can. If not, just go back to the crown, drop your shoulders. See if you can keep your fingers really close together. And then if we can lean back a bit, take the little fingers back behind you, let your sternum face up to the ceiling, shoulders, squeeze your shoulders together so you're getting a little upper back stretch, a wee bit of a back arch going on there. Straight arms. Nice, and then release. Okay. Ease out your little fingers again. Okay, so we'll just do that to the other side. So clasp your hands without thinking about it and then change with the other little finger underneath. Again, try and get your fingers well up to each other. And then we're just going to push away straight as elbows straight, shoulders down. Now, if you find that that's hard to get your elbows straight when you do that, then that's your level then to work with that level. And you can always have your elbows slightly bent, but keep your shoulders rolling back and down, and then just work towards straightening your elbows. And the thing is, sometimes I hear people say, oh, you know, I can't do that. So it's not a question of whether you can do it or not. It's a question of more as you sort of think into what you're attempting to do, and then your body will align all the ligaments and joints and tendons and whatever muscles to enable you. So even although you might only get like a millimeter of movement, you'll begin to get something. So it's just beginning to think into what you're aiming for. So forehead, and then pushing out from the forehead. Drop our shoulders. What's happened to that sternum? In and up. Do you still feel that really long front body? Do you feel that connection with your lower abdomen, with your pelvic basin? See if you can squeeze your perineum, squeeze it in and up. Okay, lovely. Now, Trish, don't go any higher. That's fine. Just stay with that. Trish, don't do that. Just stay with the forehead. If you're recovering from a shoulder injury or something, you don't want to push it. So take it easy. But those of you that find that okay can go from the crown of the head. Drop your shoulders as you stretch up. So even as you stretch your hand, you want to feel an equal reaction of the shoulders dropping, and then if you can, that feels okay for you, let the little fingers go back, and then if you can just lean back. Now, if that's a little bit too strong, you can always catch your hands behind your back and lean back that way. So Kirsten, catch your hands behind your back if you want. So you want to just get a lovely opening in the upper body. Let the sternum lift towards the ceiling. Lovely, and then release. Good, well done. So we're just going to sit for a moment. Let the hands, the backs of the hands rest on your knees. Let them recover gently. Keeping our lovely straight body. Crown of the head lifting to the ceiling. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Sit bones descending. Get a feeling of that sternum moving back and up. Picking up your pelvic basin. Breathe out. See how much you can soften in the shoulders. Just let your fingers be relaxed. Okay, and then from there, let's just see if there's any forward movement. You can bring the hands onto the floor and just slide forward if there's that possibility in your body, or we can get our chair and we can just slide forward onto a chair. Just get some kind of hinge going on. If you find to come forward gives your knee issues, then you can support your knee. So just see if there's any possibility of gently hanging over, letting your body come forward. I know some of you, if you find it quite possible, you can bring the forearms on the floor and then just let your head hang. You've got a nice stretch through the hips if you can do that. Lovely, and then let's just do the same thing, but switch back our legs. So switch with your right leg back again, and again hinge forward. And those of you that can let your head go down, let your forearms go on the floor, and then you'll get the stretch through the hip, but it'll be more on the other side. If that's not happening, you can just have your elbows on a chair, or you can just stretch your legs out in another position that works better for you. You can have straight legs or wide legs, and just get a feeling of some kind of forward movement going on there. Lovely. And then from there, we're going to head down. Actually, no, we're not going to head down to the floor. We're going to just come up a little bit higher onto our cushion. So if you just have both feet on the floor, just going to find another way to get that stretch if you find that hard. So we're going to take our right hand through the right leg and just catch your left ankle and just bring your left ankle through. And then if you can, take your right foot over and then just catch to lift up. Just don't worry too much about the twist. I want you to feel that in the right glute. Keep your right glute down. Yeah, you'll get it more strongly if you're propped up on something. So descend, let your right hip descend, drop down into the cushion, the bolster, whatever you're sitting on. So just feel a little bit of something going on in that right glute. Hold. Breathing. Nice, and then release. And then both feet on the floor. Take the left hand through, underneath, thread it through the left knee, catch your right ankle, take your right ankle underneath your left leg, and then we're just going to take that left foot over the right knee, holding the knee. Let that left hip descend as you reach up to little twist. But it's important to make sure that you're not pulling that left hip off the block or the bolster, whatever you're using. So we're looking to get a wee stretch through into the left glute. Breathing. Shoulders away from the ears. And release. And then from there we can just head onto the floor and we'll just have a little relaxation for a few minutes. So making sure we're in a straight line. Let your feet fall out, your toes fall away from the heels, shoulders rolling back and down. Now those of you that find lying in a straight line uncomfortable, don't forget to put your legs up on a chair. Kirsten, put your legs up on a chair. Or you can have something under your knees. And then if you want, you can just put a blanket over you. So, shoulders tucked under. So let's just take a moment to really think about the backs of our hands on the floor, our fingers curling. Using every exhalation just to allow the body's weight to drop more heavily onto your mat. Checking that the lower jaw is falling away from the upper jaw. And then taking a deep breath, we'll just move our fingers and toes, twiddle them, and then stretch our arms and legs. Just enjoy a lovely stretch, and roll onto one side. Take a moment on one side. And then let's just come into sitting position to finish together. So lovely straight back, arms together. Lovely. Thank you all.